what do you do when you put a meal together? And so in this, what I did is I came up with the 3 principles of Eat Like a Girl. This was really important to me because in the hormonal discussion, one of the things that I'm seeing over and over again is everybody's like, I need more hormones, especially menopausal women. They're like, put a patch on, put cream on. I'm not saying those are hopefully you've heard me say this over and over again, that hormone replacement therapy in whatever lens you're looking at is an individual journey. And you are adding hormones in to a body that is depleted in those hormones. And that journey should be a unique one that you take with the doctor that is putting you on these hormones. So don't do it like your bestie. Don't do it like your sister. Your hormonal journey is unique to you in how you bring these exogenous hormones into your body. But that's only chapter 1 of the hormone conversation. Chapter 2 of the hormone conversation is once you have hormones, your body has to break it down in order to make it usable to the cell. So it's a little bit like if you have a big file on your computer you're sending to somebody, you have to compress that file so that it's sendable. The same thing with hormones, whether your body makes the hormone or an exogenous source brought the hormone in, it still has to go through a reformat in order to get into your cells. So what does that look like? And I'm going to go through the 3 principles here in a moment. Then once your cells use all those hormones, it has to detox it. It has to off-gas it. It has to move it out of your body. And if it doesn't move it out, then it stores it in fat. This is estrogen dominance. Estrogen dominance is you got a form of estrogen in your body that the body didn't know how to break down and detox. So it stored it. And then that's where we start to see accumulation of belly fat. This is where we see some of the hormonal cancers. So can we just go into chapter 2 and chapter 3 of the hormone conversation? And chapter 1 is you got to make the hormone. Chapter 2 is you got to break down the hormone. And chapter 3 is you have to detox the hormone. So when we are looking at through that lens, the 3 Eat Like a Girl principles are eat to make a hormone. And I'm going to talk about what that looks like in food. Eat to break a hormone down, so you're reformatting it so your cells can use it, and eat to detox those hormones. And you can accomplish this in one meal. So I'm going to walk through what each principle looks like through a food lens, and then I'm going to show you how you put it together in the meal. Because the 3 Eat Like a Girl principles to me were an instruction guide for putting a meal together to support your hormones. Principle number 1, eat to make a hormone. Okay, well, what does that mean? And it's really simple. It's so simple. We need to diversify our food choices. If you and I were sitting face to face right now, I have no doubt that you would tell me that you eat pretty much the same 50 to 100 foods over and over again. I've sat with enough patients to know that this is the truth. People have a food preference. They eat the same food over and over again. I even have to force myself to get out of that. So if we have 24 key nutrients that are needed to make hormones, we need to open up and eat a wider diversity of food. So this goes back to what I told you before, which is if you eat grass-fed meat, try eating buffalo, try eating lamb, try doing venison, like open that up because each one of those foods is going to give you a different set of amino acids, different sets of minerals. So now we want to use food to get these nutrients into our body so we don't have to use supplements. So just keep asking yourself, am I eating the same foods? And how can I open that up so I get more diversity of foods? Same thing with the fruits and vegetables you eat. And when I make a salad, I put as many different things in it as possible. I just had some friends over for the weekend and I was showing them how I make a salad. They're like, this is the greatest salad. And I'm like, yeah, because the salad kind of acts like a smoothie where you can put nuts and seeds and you can put different forms of proteins and different types of lettuces. And all of a sudden you look at this salad that has like over 25, 30 ingredients and it's meeting, as you'll see, it'll meet all 3 of the principles, but it definitely meets eat to diversify. And those of you that are plant-based, this is like when we're looking at our protein sources, like we've got tofu and we've got tempeh and we've got garbanzo beans and we've got hemp seeds, and let's bring it in from all different levels. I'll tell you, in putting this book together, I've really questioned and challenged my belief system on, plant-based versus omnivore? Can you get the right amount of protein that you need to build muscle in a plant-based diet? And I've come to the conclusion that the answer is yes. I mean, Stacey Sims came on and said that here's an extreme menopausal athlete and she's plant-based. So in the book, I give you the amino acid profiles of the different types of plants and of protein, so you can start to see that when it comes to protein, we have a diversity of choices. But with people who are plant-based, we really need to make sure that we're doing beans and we're doing soy and we're doing plants, seeds, and nuts that have all these different types of nutrients in it. So we meet rule number 1, which is eat to make a hormone, which translates into diversity. Eat as many diverse things as possible. Okay, number 2 is eat to break down a hormone. And this is also fairly easy. It falls into the category of feed your microbiome. And when you want to feed your microbiome, I introduced this concept in Fast Like a Girl. You want to follow the rules of the 3 Ps: polyphenol, probiotic, and prebiotic foods. That's the diet of your microbes. The more polyphenol foods, probiotic foods, prebiotic foods you eat, the more you feed these microbes, the more they're able to break down your hormones so that they're in the right format for the cells. So this also, now we have diversity. We're not ignoring diversity, but we're looking at food through the lens of, okay, how do I get more nutrients to my microbes? And that all falls under one category as well, which is fiber. This is nature's foods. To help you break down your hormones, we need to bring fiber into every single meal. So these are your lettuces. This is fruits and vegetables. Nature has provided fiber for you. So with every meal, we're also adding in fiber so that we're feeding microbes that can break down these hormones. Okay, and then the third principle is eat to detox hormones. And this is really interesting because this is all about your liver and your gut. And there's a little bit of overlap, which is why I want to kind of bring the conversation home by showing how these 3 concepts come together in one meal. So we need that liver to help us break down estrogen specifically into a format that allows the body to detox it. So if, like I said before, if we do not detox estrogen, we store it. And those of you trying to get rid of the belly fat, this is really important because your body's storing it in the belly fat. So I've commented a lot on the liver supporting foods. It's like ginger and lemon and radicchio. It's the bitter foods. I even do things like beet kvass, where you can drink, different drinks that will help with supporting the liver so it could do its job. This is where we look at things like bone broth. The bone broth goes in there and it creates this beautiful healing to the inner lining of the gut. So the microbes in there can not only break down your hormones for the right format, but can also help to move those hormones through your stools, move it out through your body and get out of your system. So, and again, I've got lots of lists. I walk through the detox organs because they're important. Kidneys. How are we feeding the kidneys? You need to be drinking water to support the kidneys. I put in there some other outside food things, like we need to be dry brushing and working with our lymph. And so I do have a few other principles that aren't food related that match that third principle. So just so I don't lose you, I want you to think about this. You're putting a plate together and I want you to look at that plate and go, okay, I need to eat to make a hormone. Is this food a food I haven't eaten yet? Do I not like the tuna last night? I don't eat the tuna a lot. So, okay, that met principle number 1. I also had in there some microgreens that were really unique that I don't typically eat. And I'm like, okay, that's now I'm putting the salad together. I'm like, yeah, there's principle number 2. And then I put in some radicchio because I love radicchio. And I broke it down and cut it up into the salad. And I'm like, okay, now I'm supporting my liver, which matches principle number 3. And if this is new for you, don't worry, I got lists for you. Whenever we come to a meal, we need to ask ourselves if it's diverse enough, if it has enough fiber, and if it's supporting the liver and the gut for detox. Let me give one of the favorite meals that I've shared with you all, which is I used to love to break my fast with a half avocado, hemp seeds, sauerkraut, and then sometimes I'd chop up chicken. Lately, again, I've been experimenting with things like tofu. And I'm like, okay, now I've got the fiber and I've got the probiotic and I'm coming back into food and it's matching these 3 principles. So it makes food fun when you start to look through that lens. It's like you can have your cake and eat it too. Just make sure that your cake is organic, it has the right ingredients, and that it's breaking the right foods down. You'll hear in the episode that I did with Chef Leslie that one of the things that I found interesting about her food style is when I first met her, I was coincidentally wearing a CGM, continuous glucose monitor. So she's making the food and I'm testing everything on my CGM and I'm coming back to her and I'm like, look at what this did. And she had never seen her food in real time. But the food that brought my glucose down the most was a chocolate cake. And she had put MCT oil in it and it was so yummy. And it had so much fat. It had a really healthy cacao. And she had put some fibery, I can't remember. Oh, avocado. She put avocado in it. And so it stabilized my blood sugar really well. But it also had this variety of ingredients that I don't typically put with chocolate. And so I had this yummy experience in my taste buds, but also a healthy experience for my body. So checklist, my friend. Let's look at the 5 foundational principles. Ask yourself if on a regular basis you are following that. And every meal you put together, you're doing the 3 Eat Like a Girl principles. You're looking at diversity, you're looking at fiber, and you're looking at the liver and gut supporting foods so you can detox this out. And then there becomes a language that we are now having an experience with and talking about. And they're principles. They're not rigid have-tos. So I'm really looking forward to your response on all of that. I can tell you that the front half of the book is a book unto itself. What some of you may end up doing is I did go in and read the book. So you might listen to the front half in Audible and then get the main book for the recipes. And I have sort of a vision of you listening to the book while you're cooking a meal or listening to a podcast like this. Because when I came to this idea of writing this cookbook and hiring these incredible chefs and providing yummy recipes for you, it just was really important to me that I taught you what I know about the eating window for women. Because I taught you what I knew worked for the fasting window, but in Fast Like a Girl, I didn't have the ability in that book to really go deep into the eating window. And so now we're going deep. And you just got Eat Like a Girl Course 101, and how you can use this book. And honestly, I look at these 2 books as sisters. They're companion manuals. We've got Fast Like a Girl that taught you everything you needed to know about the fasting window. And now you have Eat Like a Girl to really dive into the principles of the eating window. And then you have some incredible recipes to put it all in action.
Guess what? In my next video, I'm going to show you the amazing benefits of honey. So make sure you stick through and watch that video. What is interesting is honey, even though it's a sweetener, there's some really cool qualities to it that you want to know about and make you change your mind if you've kept it out of your diet.